Welcome all. I am Sukumar. This is going to be a narration about the subject code SPPY 107 Research Methodology 2, which comes in MSc Counseling Psychology of Madras University Distance Education. Lesson 5 is all about conceptualizing research questions. Why conceptualizing research questions is so important in research activities? Constructing and writing a research proposal is regarded as the core preliminary activity for a researcher. It is where the aim of the research is written down, or the activity which we are going to carry out in the research process. So, only when we define what we are going to do, what activity we are going to carry out, what is what are going to be the results we are anticipating from this research, then only we can go in the right direction in the research activity. A research concept must articulate a real and justifiable issue grounded in all likelihood in prior research experience and thus worth doing. It should give an impression that it is worth doing and it is real and justifiable issue. Second one is clearly relate to a body of relevant prior knowledge within the given discipline. Third one is be formulated with a full understanding of the appropriate analytical tools and make someone potentially original contribution to knowledge and or theory. So in short, it should be meaningful, it should be real, justifiable, and possibly if it has some prior research data, it's well and good. It should be worth doing. Then it should be related to the field. Then the the understanding of the analytical tools should be very proper, and there should be an potential original contribution. It should not be a duplication. There are 10 steps in conceptualization as said by Chennai in 2011, and it is very much important to conduct a qualitative research. The 10 steps are: reflect on what interests you, draft a statement identifying the preliminary area of interest, justifying its scholarly and or practical importance. Hone your topic focus. Third one. Fourth one is compose your initial research question or hypothesis. Fifth one is define your goals and objectives. Sixth, conduct a review of the literature. Seventh, develop your research design. Eight, conduct a self assessment to determine your strengths that will be useful for your study and what skills you need to develop to conduct the study. Then the ninth step is plan, conduct, and manage the study. 10th, compose and submit your report. Then there are two essential steps to do a research. Step one is identification and conceptualization of the research topic. Second one is narrowing down the research topic based on possibility, feasibility, and practicality of solving the problem based on theory and research evidences. Any research should have a definite and specific outcome. It should be practical, it should be feasible, and it should be possible. We cannot conduct a research that is practically not possible, or just a mere theoretical research is not going to be of any use. It should be practically conducted and proven. So let us see the previous 10 steps in a brief way. Reflect on what interests you. So based on your interest, choose a preliminary area of interest, draft a statement for that, and justify its practical importance or scholarly importance. Then hone the topic. So refine the topic so that you are going to do a specific research. It should not be a very vague research. And compose your initial research question or hypothesis. So based on all the initial refinements, come out with a hypothesis or a clear-cut research question. So based on the research question, we have to define the goals and objectives. So any research should have the goal and objective clearly defined. So in short, it is what is intended to be found. Say, for example, I am carrying out an independent research wherein I am focusing on how the individual behavior affects the organizational behavior. So I am conducting the research study with the graduates who have finished their graduation in 2021 and 2022. So I have taken a survey of about 450 respondents, 450 to 500. From that, I am defining it. I am redefining it. Initially, I thought pre-COVID and post-COVID era, but the topic was becoming vague. So I refined the topic into first finding out with this 2021-22 pass outs. Then based on the other data which we can get, we can add on to the research. Conduct a review of the literature. So whenever we are doing a research, so we have to find out the literature of the review or sorry, the literature available related to that research. Literature in the sense the past researches done by various scientists or researchers. Then based on that, we have to develop a research design. So when we study the previous researches done, we can develop a research design and then conduct a self-assessment in order to determine what strengths. So this self-assessment will help us to identify what current strengths we have and what skills we need to develop. Then we have to plan any research activity. We cannot do just like that. We have to plan, conduct and manage it in a proper, specific, targeted timelines. Then based on the research done, compose and submit the report. Compose in the sense, collect all the data, put it in a format, and then submit the report. In identification and conceptualization of the research topic, we have two ways and means to do it. One is the primary source and the secondary source. The secondary sources relate to the literature available. Literature we can find out in academic journal articles, academic or professional books, research reports. This is from the past history that is available. So we can find out journals, then professional books or academic books also, and then the research reports that based on the researches conducted in respective libraries or in public domain, it is available. And preferably we need to go with peer review articles so that those articles which are already reviewed by other professionals in that field and the feedback is given, so that gives a more of an acceptance. Then the primary is using raw data. uh, when we collect data, we have some data, we can interpret it in many different ways. So from that, we have some raw data available with us. So we can identify a research topic from the data available. Using the data available, we can formulate a research topic. Then another thing is called early mapping, mind, concept, and literature techniques. These are another ways and means where mapping of different topics can be done, or similar topics can be done and brought into a perfect shape so that we can go ahead with the research. And then step two in conceptualization, we have to identify the research problem, then why I am doing that, what is my intention behind that. Then I have to identify what way I'm going to conduct the research, then how feasible it is, practical it is, then how that can be evolved, and then what are the challenges, is it empirical or theoretical. So analyzing all this, we have to carry out the research. Then the next topic is issues of paradigm. Paradigm in 1962, in the structure of scientific revolution, Thomas Quinn used it in two different ways. One is to represent a particular way of thinking that is shared by a community of scientists in solving problems in their field. The second one is to represent the commitments, beliefs, values, methods, outlooks, and so forth shared across a discipline. In other words, we can, in Swant words, we can say, as per scientist Swant, a paradigm is a shared worldview that represents the beliefs and values in a discipline and that guides how problems are solved. So, in short, it is the common views across the world, or the values, common beliefs and values across the world, which act as a guide to solve the problems. That is referred as paradigm. Next one is scientific method. So, positivism had a major influence on the way social inquiry developed over the last century and provides the wider backdrop against which qualitative research evolved and matured. It's given by Dunson and Lincoln in 2011. The basic issue in all these philosophical debates that surrounds the conception of scientific investigation and what it constitutes. So there are various debates that have happened. So uh, one thing is that there are a lot of challenges in this, and how the scientific is defined, because generally when we see natural sciences like math, physics, or biology, that is defined in a proper way, but when it comes to psychology, it is still under a lot of debates, and certain scientists even employed inductive and deductive methods. And considering all this, issues raise important questions about the status of scientific method, around which so much epistemological debate in the social sciences has taken place. One major challenge here is that with the scientific method, what we coin as scientific method, it may not be exactly reflecting the same way the natural sciences like physics, chemistry, or mathematics do, because those are dealing predominantly with objects, whereas here we are dealing with living beings, that is, humans. So it is not so easy to replicate the same way that happens in the natural laboratory sciences experiments as human constructions. A paradigm represents simply the most informed and sophisticated view that its proponents have been able to devise, given the way they have chosen to respond to the three defining questions. And the sets of answers given are, in all cases, human constructions, that they are all inventions of the human mind and then subject to human error. No constructions, no construction can be inconvertibly. Advocates of any particular construction must rely on persuasiveness and utility rather than proof in arguing their position. This is said by Goba and Lincoln in 1989. In qualitative research paradigm, a multidisciplinary group is formed while conducting a inquiry process for exploring and understanding social or human problems, and adapts interpretative technique to explore the phenomena in naturalistic situation. It also explores the subjective issues by adopting holistic approach and analysis physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, social, environmental factors, the subject matter which in unclear or little is known about particular phenomena. Moreover, the proponents of quantitative research paradigm further tries to proclaim and confines the qualitative research activities in relation to the following. Due to repeated and prolonged data collection, sometimes the ethical aspects are violated or possibly violated, adopts emergent design without specified methodology, decreases validity and reliability of its findings. So, a specified methodology has to be in place so that the results can be validated. Informed consent is often questioned here, and also during in depth interviews, confidentiality and anonymity cannot be maintained, and uses multi methods for data collection and multi panel team for data analysis. Certain times gather sensitive issues which also violate the rights of the respondents. Style of reporting is also but rather tedious. The qualitative research paradigm has certain critical uniqueness. It adapts emergent design without predetermined structure. It implements in natural setting, considered as a context-bound research, implements inductive reasoning of logic, explains phenomenon of interest from holistic perspective, uncovers patterns of human behaviors, realities, believes on multiple realities and identifying the issues of the phenomenon, although it selects small sample purposively. It provides detailed subjective description. The data analysis is a labor intensive work. Furthermore, the proponents of naturalistic paradigm believes that the rigor of qualitative research paradigm depends on five major components: trustworthiness, credibility, transferability, conformability, and constancy dependability. Next one is theoretical sampling. A theoretical sampling is a tool that allows the researcher to generate theoretical insights by drawing on comparisons among the samples of data. Data can include population, events, activities, or even time periods. Data remain opaque if the researcher develops no sensitivity among the potential differences and similarities among a variety of classes or samples of data. In theoretical sampling, data are collected on an ongoing iterative basis, and the researcher keeps on adding to the sample until there is enough data to describe what's going on in the context or situation under study, and until a theoretical situation is reached. A theoretical sample would bring into relief a variety of experiences that can be compared to generate concepts and theory. The typical basic research process often does not allow a researcher initially to set out samples. Rather, as the researcher first deepens him or herself in a field setting, the potentiality of creating theoretical samples becomes more obvious. In some cases, theoretical sampling involves further differentiation among the classes of data, whether they pertain to activities, events, documents, or time periods. Theoretical sample is a simple but highly effective tool that can spark further insights because it can save time. Moreover, the use of theoretical sampling forces the researcher into new directions, stretching the diversity of data gathered for the purpose of developing concepts and theories. So, in short, theoretical sampling can give a lot of insights, can make the work easier, and also can generate a lot of new dimensions to the research, as predominantly it is based on the interpretation of data available. Thank you.